Lone Wolf.
Lowell Millard, president.
And we're taking a little bit of a risk tonight. We thought we would try to introduce ourselves, tell you a little bit about what we do, how we do it, who the team is, and hopefully make it fun with some giveaways and that sort of thing. And we thought that it would make the most sense to start with, just where we work. I mean, this is not some Taj Mahal that's 6 stories tall in the middle of LA. It's a small, inconspicuous building in Priest River, Idaho. If you pan over here, there was actually, if you see over here below the American flag, you can see the wild turkeys in the parking lot. See the mountains basically in the background. And if Justin holds the camera up super high, you can see the sun just kind of falling to the west there. So this is basically where it happens and where we've been doing this for a long time now. So follow us inside and we're going to introduce you to the team and talk about what we're going to do this evening. So this is Lowell's office. Any good gun company needs to have at least 1 or 10,000 American flags. And then here's the conference room where our leadership team works. All right, so before we introduce everybody, let's talk about what our goals are for tonight. Like I said, I want you, the Lone Wolf family, the folks who have been building this company for a long time, to meet the people that are on the other end of this thing. The people that make your weapons, make your barrels, make your slides. I want you to get a sense for how we do what we do. I was fortunate enough to become the owner and CEO of the company a few months ago. And from the first time I came here and met these folks, I was hooked. Because in addition to a great brand and over 20 years of history, there's something that you can't just manufacture, and that is spirit. There's a real sense of family and a sense of pride, and frankly, just a hell of a lot of fun. From the first time I was in this room with these folks, they crack me up. And they're real. And you can't make that up. And you're going to see some mistakes tonight. We're launching our website in real time. We launched it, I think, probably 30 minutes ago. And you might ask, Clay, why did you invite people to see you launch a website? Every time anyone ever launches a website, there's mistakes. That's exactly why we did it. Because we want you to see that we're real people. We try our best. We make mistakes, but we want you to help us figure out what about this website needs to be changed or fixed. You may see the old logo on a page. Something may not load. That's okay. We would rather figure that out and be fixed tonight and have this thing working great by tomorrow than we would it dribble out over a week or 2 weeks and you wondering if we're so stupid and dumb that we don't know there's a mistake. I'm sure there's mistakes. Help us find them and we're going to fix them as quickly as possible with your help and your feedback. So that's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to give some things away because most people, myself the most, like free swag. And so we have got some grab bags. It's basically just got stuff in a box that we sort of randomly pulled off the shelf. We'll give away 2 or 3 of those throughout the night. And the last thing we're going to do is we are going to give away a gun at the end of the night. Now, here's the kick. You got to be on the Facebook Live to be in the raffle. If you leave in 2 minutes because you've got to go do whatever you do, I get it, but you won't be in the raffle. So basically, hopefully this is fun enough that you stick around, or hopefully you want a gun bad enough you stick around. But we're going to raffle off some bags as we go through this, and we're going to raffle off a gun at the end, probably at the top of the next hour. This is going to go for about an hour. If it's really boring and really awful, we'll let you out of the pain soon. And if it's interesting, or we take longer, we'll go 5 or 2 minutes longer. We'll go as the Spirit leads us. The other thing that we're going to do tonight is we're going to tell you a little bit about the roadmap coming up. We're not going to give you the intimate details. We're filing for some patents on some things. But towards the end of the hour, we want to tell you what we're planning on launching. Some of you may have seen an email that we sent out 2 or 3 weeks ago asking for some input from you. We want this company to be very responsive to you. We want you to drive us and guide us. One of the things that I was intrigued about when I had the opportunity to buy Lone Wolf was there's hundreds of thousands of you who have loved Lone Wolf for over 20 years. That is such a cool, tremendous, unique thing. I can't even explain. When I saw this, I'm like, my God, there's a diamond. And so we want to do more with that. We want your input. We want your feedback. So we want the feedback, whether it's good or bad. Some of you noticed, I think Mervin was the person, noticed that we did a price increase today. And some of you rightly pointed out, oh, there was a price increase. At the same time, they're going to do a 25% off on the first 250 people to buy something. No, we don't think it's that easy to fool you. This was not intended to be, some sort of bait and switch. One of the things that we decided as a team is we want to be in stock. We make what we make here in the United States of America. We're very, very proud of that. If you want to know who makes stuff in Korea or China or whatever, then go back and figure out who were the first people that went out of stock in March and April and May when COVID hit. Why? Because shipments shut down from overseas. We fought like hell to make sure that the products you want are available on our website. And we're paying more in some cases to basically make sure the products are available to you. So our goal has been not to make more money off of you, but to maintain our margins and pay more to our suppliers if we have to keep our products on the shelf. And so basically we did a price increase that's small on certain items in order to keep our margins the same. And we're going to keep fighting like hell to make sure the product that you want is available. Hopefully anything you need to get around the stuff we do, you can get it here and it will continue to be that way. And that's our commitment, certainly, to try our best to do that for you. So those are some of the things we're going to do tonight. Is there anything else we're supposed to get done before I introduce you? All right, so y'all talk about you. Kathy, I want to start with you.
Oh, good.
The den mother of Lone Wolf. Tell me about you. How long have you been in Lone Wolf?
8 years.
Why don't you come to Lone Wolf?
It seemed interesting to start with. Once
Yeah.
I got here, I fell in love with the company, I fell in love with the people, I fell in love with the product, all of it. And now I'm here for the people. I love working with these people.
This is not stage stuff. This is what you get if you work with Kathy. You come in, you see coffee cups like, good morning, I see the assassins have failed. Kathy's got a lot of coffee cups. It's almost like my little treat when I come is to see what smart-ass, snarky thing Kathy will gift upon us today. But it makes Kathy an absolute joy and just a kick in the pants to work with. So you've worked here for 8 years.
Yes.
One of the things that we talked about, a few months ago was we want to keep doing the stuff that's always made Lone Wolf great.
Yes.
And we want to build upon that and make it better. What are some things that have always been great about Lone Wolf that we've tried to keep, and what are some things that you think we're trying to get better and do better?
We've always strived to do the best business. We've always strived to give people what they want to do, what they want. We're still doing that. Lone Wolf has always treated their employees like their family. We're still doing that. We're building a team that everybody loves coming to work. These are the things that are important to me.
And like this desire you have some days to choke near goal because we're asking you to ship like X amount or Y amount or whatever. What does your team do on like the high pressure days when you just had it up to here? Like,
They jump in and do it. They bribe me with Skittles.
Man, you're an easy day to keep me bright.
I know. It's not too exciting. They jump in. Everybody jumps in because they love this company. They want to do a good job.
All right. So I'm going to introduce Zach to you in a minute. And so here's something you got to know about Zach. Zach is like my alter ego. I'm always trying to like leap buildings with a single bound, and Zach's always like, let me tell you the 27 things that requires and why that's exactly what's required. Like, no kidding.
Yeah.
And so one of the things, it's like the angel of death, but he gets everything done, so it's awesome. One of the things that there's a handful of people I've worked with in my career that are doers. If they make a promise, they deliver on their word, and they are obsessed with keeping their word. They're obsessed with not letting people down, almost to a fault at times. And I've always loved working with people like that. Prior to my business career, I've done a couple stints in the Navy. I was in the SEAL teams, and when the rubber hits the road, you got to have folks that always get done what they're supposed to get done. That don't make excuses, that don't play the victim, that don't whine. If they say it's going to happen by 2 o'clock on Thursday, by God, at 2 o'clock on Thursday, you can go to the bank and it's done. Zach's one of those guys. And we've butted heads in a very positive way. Because I'll say I want X, I want it by a certain date. And you're like, well, we can't. I'm like, what does it take to do it? So why don't you talk about you, how long you've been here, and what's been different about Lone Wolf in your view in the last 4 or 5 months? Now, what are we trying to do?
Yeah, so my name is Zach Carlson. I've been here just now 10 years. This yesterday was my 10-year anniversary, and it's completely different. I mean, the nice thing is the commitment to the people has always been the same. Like when under previous ownership back 10 years ago, it was like a family, and it's like a family now. That is really the best thing. But there's just things that we're empowered to do changes now, where and that's a good thing. So we're doing a lot of projects that maybe we didn't even think we were possible to do. Clay, I like to think of it as like Lowell is driving the car for us, and then Clay is on the other side putting his foot over and jamming the gas, and we just have to go at that speed. And that speed is not comfortable at first, but then when you realize you can actually do it, it's very empowering to everybody that's doing it. Like we're doing things that we didn't think were possible 6 months ago, and we're doing.
Somewhere out there on this Facebook Live, my wife's going, "Hey, try to be married."
I bet.
So before this happened, Zach was complaining, "You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. What are we gonna do?"
Have you satiated your desire to do more, Zach?
Yeah. That's a big deal. We used to kind of hem and haw and stuff, and now we're doing, for sure. We've turned into a company of doers.
All right, so Lowell, you're my everyday guy. Your job is to make sure trains run on time, sailors on the ship don't mutiny, hold people accountable at the same time, give people up. And Lowell actually showed up before I did. He showed up under previous ownership and previous management late last fall. And a bedtime story for a different time was my first phone call to Florida, which I'll never forget. But you came into something that had been really good for a long time, and you want to find a way to make it better. Tell me about how you every day sort of balance those two things.
My passion is building teams and helping to bring out the teams, what's in the team, and making them work well together. I think I've always done that well, and I think that it's happened here again. It is a balance between pushing and pulling, finding the carrot when it's needed and finding the stick when it's needed, and knowing the difference between the two.
All right, Matt.
Yep.
What were you worried about?
Honestly?
Yeah, because you told me day one.
I know.
Clearly what you were worried.
You told us all.
Right off the bat, honestly, really concerned about just moving forward, and if we were going to continue innovating, if we were going to continue making product, what my role was moving forward. It was honestly really concerning for us in the shop, for me personally, and I couldn't have been more wrong. In these past 4 months, I personally feel like we have done more here in the last 4 months than I did in the last 6 years now in March, as far as what we have taken the company. It's been absolutely.
So what's funny is Matt he can do ridiculous things. Actually, Zach, tell him about when, was it Doosan or Haas came to look at their machine?
Yes, we didn't explain what actually Matt does. Matt is kind of the brains behind anything machining in here, and all the programming, machining, everything like that. And to do the flexibility and scale that we need to do on all these machine patterns, you see all these companies that come around and they do a cool pattern, and yeah, but can they do thousands of them at a time? Well, most of them cannot. They're very small shops, and we are physically a small shop, but what Matt was able to do was take all this ingenuity in programming and software and build a flexible, scalable system for our machines that lets us scale up and do a bunch of variety, which is where a lot of shops fall down, is the variety and everything. And when Doosan, you'll see one of our machines back there.
Doosan, for those of you who don't know, because I didn't, Doosan makes manufacturing machines, okay? So when we go in the back and you see what goes on back there, you're basically going to see the machines that we make stuff on. And
so there's the controller was one of the first in the country, I believe, the machine works on. And we had some, first model year of everything. They came out and looked at it, and all these engineers that built the machine kind of looked at the software that Matt built and said, how did you do that? Like, that shouldn't have been possible, but Matt was able to figure it out, and it's been great so far.
And so what Matt didn't know is, previous career, I don't know if you'd say I have attention deficit disorder or just an eclectic career path. Probably a little bit of both. When I got out of college, I went to the Navy for a bit, and then I started a career in software and consulting, and I had some success at it. but software, and even more so consulting, is sort of a theoretical product. You write spreadsheets, or you basically do PowerPoint presentations. And I took a step out of my business career. I ran unsuccessfully for a political office. At the end of it, it was sort of halftime in my life, and a family member said, well, what are you going to do now? And I said, well, I've always wanted to. I was successfully running a big consulting business at the time for a global company. I said, I've always wanted to have a boutique consulting firm that's my own, that kind of reflects my values. And I've always wanted to be involved with a company that made stuff in a small town in America, where it's really a jobs creator. People there, it punches above its weight. They take pride in what they do. And this particular family member said, oh, I got a company for you to look at. There's a company out in Idaho that makes block parts and accessories named Lone Wolf. And so got on an airplane, came out here, met the previous owner, met this team, and that's kind of how this began. And to be honest with you, I've had some success in business because I grew up hunting with my dad, and because of my touring the teams, I understood guns. I didn't know a damn thing about the gun business. And any fool that thinks they know guns and they know business, so automatically know the gun business, that person should not be so arrogant. So my goal coming into this was to take some of the things I'd learned and stretch the team, but listen and empower them. And a lot of our first meetings was, what are all the cool stuff you guys have always wanted to try that you haven't tried yet? And what do I have to do to both empower you and kind of kick you in the pants and make you go faster at it?
Yeah,
and that's really how this started.
I think the conversations are more, what do you want to do? Okay, now let me get out of the way so you can go do it.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean,
I don't think you believed him at first either.
No, because
Well, previously we would throw something against the board and see if it sticks. But then we'd throw 20 other things against the board, and then everything falls off the board. Now we are empowered to actually get something started and follow it through. And that is it's an amazing feeling to actually see something all the way to the end.
Very rewarding.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned a little bit about the team, and for the 10 years I've been here, we've had a good team, but we didn't have necessarily the right people in the right seats. And Lowell really was building up the team, and I didn't believe him at first. I thought we had to hire for the skills and everything. But as we're hiring people, we are finding that we interview for personality and just willingness to work. You need to have those people there, and it is drastically showing. We go back there, and everybody is just humming along, and it's the big difference. And I credit Lowell with that.
All right, so no one wants a Harvard Business School class on Lone Wolf and how we function or dysfunction, but I think that the machines are super cool. And so what I want is for Matt. Exactly. Now this dude, listen, that's not BS. You guys are watching this. This dude is a complete machine nerd. I mean, you have no idea. Like, he just sits there at night, like, dreams about cool stuff he can program a machine to do. And then, like, the passion and the nerdism, which is a very good thing, totally comes through. And some force.
Put your glasses on.
Yeah,
Put your glasses on.
Yeah, they got like a little piece of white tape. All right, so let's go back. I want to show folks the machines in the back, and let's go from there.
All right, we're going to go show them the machines. It might be a little bit loud because the machines are running, so we're going to struggle to probably hear, but let's go.
Okay, so we're
going to come in here. This is R&D. Turn it down, please. So we're going to quickly just we're making our way to the actual machine shop. This is R&D, where everything gets checked in, armory work happens, we've got packaging over here. Everything you see in your hands comes through these people's hands. They get everything checked in. QC on the floor. Got laser engraving over here. That's where everything gets marked, checked, paint done. Alright, so now we're in the machine shop. You can hear the noise levels a lot higher because we're always making stuff.
You better get closer.
Yeah, as much as you don't want to, but okay, so I'm going to let Matt talk about it mostly when he gets over there. As you can see, we have deburring over here. So after everything comes off the machine, it has to be deburred. That's that department right there. We've got machines here. I'm going to let Matt talk about
the bread and butter?
Yeah, the bread and butter.
Okay, all right.
You can see they do some quick
So
checks.
I'm not going to go too nitty gritty, but what we have here is a 400 by 400 millimeter horizontal machining center with a live fourth axis. So come on with me, I'll show you what that means. Again, I can't go into too much detail as far as proprietary nature of what we do, but I'll just kind of let you know how we go about doing it. So, customer places an order, CAD processes an order, my guys go down to shipping, go pick up an order. We throw it on this guy right here, which we're not going to show you.
Yeah, sorry, we can't show you everything because we do have a lot of competitors watching, and Matt has put some amazing engineering into these fixtures. I'd love to show it to you, but sorry.
What we have behind here, underneath this bag, proprietary nature allows us to be incredibly competitive in the marketplace as far as custom size is concerned. So we have a similar system over here on this machine. Again, cannot show you, but this is a horizontal machining center with a robotic linear pallet system. So this thing can run all night long. We have 275 tools loaded up on the back on a matrix. So it allows us to be extremely flexible and versatile. So we can make a program, bang it out, not have to do a huge setup, not have to tool up. Everything is in the machine at all times ready to go. So if we have 100 different orders come in, we can process 100 different orders with very, very little downtime. We'll go head over here to the hot to show you how
the cool thing is all the machines have high-def cameras in them at all times. So when Matt's at home, we can log in and see what's happening on the machines, make sure they're all running, and keep going.
Yep. Like Zach said, we do have a proprietary software that we wrote in-house as the background of the actual driving programs. Again, can't go into it, but it is what actually drives all these machines in-house. That again allows us to be extremely flexible and very quick for turnarounds for all these custom orders that we process throughout the day. So what we have here is a 5-axis UMC 750. This is a 5-axis vertical trunnion mill. Right now we are doing something. I won't say what we are doing, but again, fantastic piece of equipment. Could not do what we do here without the assets that Lone Wolf Distributors currently owns. And then over here we have a 3-axis vertical mill with a 4th-axis rotary. This is more of a prototype machine. We're doing some really tricky, can't see what we're doing. Anyways,
let's introduce some of the people actually running the machines. All right.
Hi.
So, this is on
I'm
this
Silva, and I'm one of the machinists here. I started here about a year ago, and truth be told, I didn't know what Lone Wolf was at first, and I was getting bored at a job I was at, couldn't find anything that was really like fulfilling, and then I got this call, and they were like, hey, we want to interview you for a firearms position, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, firearms, are you joking? Like, I get to work with firearms, and then I got the job. I'm so stoked, bragging to everybody I know about what I do now, and it's freaking awesome, because I absolutely do love guns, and I've gotten a chance to really expand my gun knowledge working here, and that's basically how I've really bonded with my family, and kind of, all the women in my family, we're excellent sharpshooters, and, you know.
Alyssa, do you carry?
I don't actually have my concealed carry yet.
You're like my daughter. My daughter's going to college in a year, and she wants to know if she can carry in Washington, D.C. She was very bummed to find out that that's probably not going to work. So
I'm actually really surprised I haven't gotten mine yet. I've been slacking.
all right.
And then over here we got Sean. Sean is also a machinist for us. And
Zach, have you and Sean ever had a beard growing contest?
no, I do terrible beards. He's got a manly beard. I got it. I want to show how we actually got Sean. Years ago, how long are you working now?
5 years.
5 years. 5 years ago, he was still in high school.
Yeah.
And we did some work with the local high school on laser engraving, and we went to the shop teacher and said, hey, who's the kid that you got that is good? And he said, Sean. Sean's the only one. So we hired him. I think you actually started before you even was out of high school.
Yeah, I did.
And so,
I almost ripped my thumb off, so I had to wait like 3 months till I could even start here. But I was excited. I got hired mainly for laser engraving off the start. And then from there, after 6 months, I was running CNCs and doing a whole bunch of other things.
Listen, I saw the talent in Sean day one. As soon as Sean got into the laser engravers, I said, this is the guy that I need over on my side. So I grabbed him before anybody else could, and it's been a
fight
pleasure
ever
ever since.
Sean is basically a 40-year-old man in a 20-year-old mind.
Sean can do anything in this company and well.
All right. Hey, real quick. Sorry, this is Clay. I know the website is having issues right now. It's one of those kind of good thing, bad things. It's awful for you, and we're so sorry. The great news is a lot of people are participating, and so the website volume is actually more than we anticipated. What I would ask you is please forgive us, be patient with us. We're working to basically rebalance the servers right now. There could be issues with it, but we don't think it's issues. We think the only issue is y'all are really being awesome to us right now, and a lot of you are trying it. So don't give up. Stay on it. We'll get your baskets purchased. So, all right. So keep going with Sean and Zach.
Well, Sean is who you come to if you need anything done back here. So Sean is the meat, like you know how you were explaining to me, I feel that same way about Sean. So tell them about the new logo and everything. So we have the new logo. I don't know if you've seen it.
We're going to talk about the logo and the rebranding and all that and why we did that in a few minutes. But you're the first one that basically put the new logo on a barrel.
Yep.
All right. So tell me again, if it has sucked, what are you going to do?
Well, first of all, I imported the graphic from our graphic designer, Justin Quinn, and I thought this thing looks badass. Like, it's going to look cool on a gun. It's going to apply to a lot younger, more energetic of a crowd. And, well, if it looked like crap, then I would have been telling people, I would have been voicing my opinion that we probably shouldn't put this on here because everybody in the comments is going to say that it sucks. So, I think it looks awesome. And having the pride to be able to put some sort of an awesome stamp on our product, it takes us far above other companies, what they do.
Well, I mean, a good example is that we used to put the logos on the inside of the product where you couldn't see it. And as everybody saw the new logo, they were first asking me, are we actually going to put it on the outside of the product now because they like it that much?
I think it looks great. So then it's like you pay for the logo. I mean, you're paying for what you're still getting the good product, but you get an added feature to it.
This is Clay back behind the camera. And honestly, this was something I had a little fear about because Lone Wolf's been a great company before anybody ever showed up. You know, it's been awesome for 20 years. So you start playing with a brand, you got to make sure you keep everything that made it great. And so the objective was to keep the original spirit, but then add to it. Basically have the deeper insights and the personalities of the folks come out. And so I was sitting there nervous until y'all called me and said, oh, we friggin' love it. And that meant a lot to me because if you guys had called and said, oh, it sucked, we would have gone with something else. And so I'll never forget the call when basically Zach and Sean called and said, it actually looks really, really good. Because it doesn't matter if it looks good on a computer screen. What matters is it's going to look good on the weapon. You're sitting at the range where you're proud. So, all right. Is there anything else here we want to cover right now? So this is where you, listen, I don't know if y'all can see me with the team. This is where your stuff is made. We'll talk a little bit more about how we basically do some other manufacturing, other places in the United States. But this is where it happens. If you send something back and it's broke, this is where it gets fixed. If you call and say, I've got a really cool idea, can you make me one of these? This is where it goes from your idea into our hands, into the product that you basically put on the end of your weapon. So, all right.
And all the machine patterns that come out of Matt's head.
Yep. All right.
Go this way.
All right, awesome.
Talk about Matt and talk about CMS.
Oh yeah, let's go do that.
Well, part of that whole conversation was, you know, how do you know something is good once you make it? And that's another fact that Matt wears. A lot of companies do, you know, have whole different parts for everything. But Matt, let Matt swing through here. So this is our Metrology Room.
There we go. Nice and quiet.
It's a little bit quieter. Nice and quiet. So this is his ICE 5-axis CMM machine. So he can check parts on here, make sure we're good. When we ever do a new project and might need a little bit of reverse engineering, this is where it comes in and we can do a lot of that engineering work right here. You want to explain how it actually works?
Well, I think you pretty much nailed it. I mean, what's actually really, okay, well, first of all, just the nitty gritty. This is a Cantura 710-6, which basically means it's 700 millimeters by 1,000 by 600. What's really unique about this machine, there's only literally a handful of people in the Inland Northwest that even have a machine like this, and I can name 2 of them off the top of my head, and we are one of them. The other ones are most from East Coast, actually. So this machine is accurate within sub 1 micron. What that means to us, not a heck of a lot, because we don't do aerospace. But for what we do here, this is an invaluable asset to us. I was just using it about 2 hours ago, checking some parts that were on a new prototype job that we're working on, and I literally could not get the measurements any way else other than utilizing this asset. So very valuable to us. Not only is it great for prototype work and figuring out if features are in spec post-manufacturing, it's also a valuable asset as far as quality control, which we can get to in on the other side. But we have a bunch of pictures up here and a bunch of programs already written, so we will have first article parts come in from our partner manufacturers, and we can slow them up on here. We can hit the go button, and it's going to take a multitude of measurements and then let us know if it's good, bad, and then exactly where it's good or bad, get back to our manufacturer, and then have them fix it.
And I talked about flexibility when we were talking about Matt's programming. This is the same deal. We used to have a 3-axis machine where you needed a lot more setups. This 5-axis allows us to use less setups and everything, so we can just check a much more variety of parts without issue. So that's been a really game changer for us.
And one of the things I want you to talk to people about, I've been sitting behind the camera for the last few minutes, and I'm watching some of your comments come in, and a lot of you are giving feedback on things you want us to make. Rest assured, we want to be the folks who make everything you want. We're not looking to sell something. We want to have a relationship with you and be a one-stop shop. But we can only innovate and make things so fast. They talked earlier about the fact that I'm, basically pushing these folks every day to make more new stuff, and we'll talk later about some of the new products that are coming out. But what I wanted you to know is your asks, your recommendations are not falling on deaf ears.
No.
We keep a list, and I want to make every single one of them. This team wants to make every single one of them.
But I want to emphasize, if you have it, email it. Don't assume somebody else has already asked for it, because I literally rank them, stack rank them by how many people have asked for a certain SKU. So when you ask for it by emailing customer service, they send it to me and I total it all up. And then when we have a little capacity to look at an item, we go sort it by who has the most requests, and that's what we make. So,
and it's a team effort, but these 2 are the ones where we basically sat there and said, okay, a lot of people wanted this. I think a lot of people want to get this from us. Matt is sort of the how do we do it, and Zach is the where do we get it. I mean, basically, Matt's trying to figure out how to take a thing that we all know would be super cool to basically have in the small of your back or whatever, and make it a little bit better than what's out there, or hopefully a lot better than what's out there, especially in this market where it's really hard to get parts. We talked earlier about how hard we've been finding to do that. Zach then has the responsibility of task masking all of those things to completion, of finding all the components, etc. Not trying to whine, you should feel sorry for us. We want you to come to us and tell us what to build you. But just know that we are trying our asses off to say yes. And we are trying to figure out the things that we can build to make the most of you happy, and what we can do and get to market sooner. And so we want to give you guys a sense not just for who's behind your weapons, but also what goes into not just keeping them in stock, getting them to you, but also bringing a new one into the world, or a better one in the world that's an innovation on something that already exists. What else should we cover here? Anything?
In here, I think we nailed it. Let's want to go check out the quality control side.
I think we kind of covered that a little bit. We're going to go over to, since we're already, I think we're behind schedule by quite a bit, but so it's already 20 till. You want to go talk to customer service and purchasing and all that? Or do you want to go to...
Let's go give a bag away.
Okay.
So if anybody's dropped off, basically I recommend you hop back on, because we're about to do a bag giveaway.
Here we go. We're going into the conference room. Okay, here we go. Coming in. How are we going to do it? I don't know. All right, looks like we have...
Alright, so...
I think they should comment that they want to win, and then we can just look at the
Alright,
comments.
y'all, we are trying to figure out how to do this for the first time, so let me just ask for the mulling and we're going to do something up. And if y'all enjoy this out there, we could actually start selling grab bags on our site, which literally is sort of, here's $100 worth of stuff in the bag, just figure out, basically we randomly throw stuff in, completely random assortment, and you basically do potluck. You get it and you see if you like it. If this is good for y'all. If this is boring or stupid, then just put up with us tonight. But what we did is we've got 3 or 4 of these. If we don't get to give them all away tonight, we'll give them away on our next Facebook Live. And there's something super cool in the last one besides the pistol we're going to give away. So what we're going to do now is we're going to basically try to just give them out so that you don't think it's like, you know,
you're gonna
my
tell me-
wife or mother, and basically I'm
scrolling up and down, Clay. You tell me when to stop.
stop.
Okay. Now I'm scrolling here. You tell me when to stop.
We got Larry.
Yeah,
Larry.
All right, Larry. Now
Larry.
you said me.
Larry Carrera. It's
Larry
you.
Carrera. Sorry, Larry is going to get this box.
I'm over here. Give me that box. I'm gonna write it on there. This is for Larry Carrera. That one's yours, buddy.
All right, now let's see what Larry's in the box. Hey, pass me
Oh.
Larry's box. All right. And if y'all like this, we could do different box types. Actually, this was not my idea. Someone gave me the box idea, and you know who you are, so thank you for giving it to us. But what we're going to do is basically have different sized boxes with different amounts of swag in it. And so, unsurprisingly, some of what's going to be in the box is some nice hats and t-shirts. And Larry, if you're a dude and you don't fit into this, we'll make the t-shirt and hat thing called. So, and this is our first t-shirt and our first hat. We're going to keep having other stuff we could do, you know, basically mock zips and that sort of thing. But we've got new Lone Wolf hat with the new logo on it.
So you'll officially be the first one outside the company to get one.
Got your t-shirt, like all my comrades here are wearing. You basically got the stickers. Please make sure those don't die in your house. They get all over the place, back of your car, etc., on your computer at work. What else do we have here?
This, I may have gone a little bit overboard. He told me a dollar amount, but I said, no, let's go a little bit higher. So we have a Glock 19 Generation 3 slide that is black with an RMR cut on it, and a 19 flush cut barrel to go with it. So just go ahead and purchase that slide completion kit and guide rods and some sights, and then you get the other stuff for free.
By the way, some of you will realize that you're still getting stuff with the old logo and the old brand on it. We are not a wasteful folk. We are a folk that basically wants to figure out a way to pinch every penny we can here so we can give you the stuff that you want at a fair price. And so instead of throwing them all the boxes out back and burning them, we're going to sell through them. So, Larry, you got an Alpha Wolf box. If you love the old logo, keep it. Remember to buy them for you now.
Larry, email customerservice@lonewolfdisc.com to claim.
And we're going to give away some more of these tonight. If this was fun, if you're bored, leave. But if you're having fun and or you want some swag, stay on because we're going to do a couple more drawings.
Customerservice@lonewolfdisc.com. Got it, email.
All right. One thing I want to, so here's the other thing I wanted to explain to people is, and it's a little bit why we wanted to do this event tonight. So, you know, different people have different opinions on what a brand even means or what a brand is. And what we wanted first of all, the brand is not a logo. Any fool can draw a picture. A brand is something you have to live. You can't fake it. You can't make it up. You can't try to be that from Tuesday to Friday and sometimes on Monday if you had a good weekend. A brand is who you are in your soul. It's who you are when the camera's not running or when you're walking around in your boxers at home. And so we actually started out with a process. And I remember I walked around and I basically said, who do you think our customers are? Who do you think we are? It was interesting because what all of you told me at first is, that's a good question, I don't know. I could have told you exactly what our spirit is because I was unbelievably drawn to it. And there's some words I have in my mind, but you know, when I was looking at the company, that's one of the things that was the most cool, interesting thing to me was the spirit. Because you can't make that up. You can't just all of a sudden microwave, ready, bake, oven, spirit. And so, you know, we basically didn't just do a logo. We have a set of who we are statements that are behind this that we hope you, the customer, experience us to be on an everyday basis. And hopefully some of those things are what you are as well. I'm guessing if you hate who we are, you should go buy from Zeb or agency or some other person or whatever. We hope that you find a connection between who we are and what you're looking for. Because like I said, we're not just looking for stuff to sell you. We're looking for a lifetime relationship with good customers. If you're a difficult customer and we can't make you happy, please go shop with my competitor. But if you're someone that wants to have a great relationship and you want people who will fight to keep your business and to make it right and to keep you happy and do whatever it takes so that you're a customer for 20 or 30 years and you're proud to wear our stuff and tell everybody you got your stuff from us, we're looking for everybody in America is that way. and we'll do whatever it takes to get you and whatever it takes to keep you. But we think that starts with being who we are, because it's too hard to be that way if it's an act. So what are some of the things that we talked about as a team as far as things that we are, words? Matt,
Victimless is the big
Victimless was, yeah.
we don't like whiners.
Yeah.
We don't like people make excuses. We don't like people that play the victim. We don't like people that basically say, well, here's why and it's so-and-so's fault.
Yeah.
That's a big thing with us, is accountability and take care of your shit. And if you don't, take accountability for it.
I know it's cheesy,
You don't
but where
like,
there's a will, there's a way. Honestly,
right.
I mean, if we put our mind to something, we're gonna figure it out. Hell or high water, we're gonna figure it out. And
But
sometimes
that's
it takes a
the
little bit
fun.
longer
Yep.
than it does, but
you don't
I mean,
fall down, you're not trying hard enough. All right, Kathy, what's the word for you?
Scrappy.
nailed it.
Scrappy is a good word. We're
Nailed it.
fighters, we're scrappers.
Yeah.
All right, what else? Zach, what you got?
Yeah, the big one was the people that take guns apart just for fun, or the people that, you know, when you were a kid, you took a toaster apart to see how it worked. Those are our kind of people. Like, we don't want somebody that's just going to buy a SKU and just look at it as a thing. We want people that get down in there and do it. So,
Which actually, we talked about that, and that goes more than just people that like to play around with stuff. Like, we cleaned out my mother-in-law's house the other day, and we found a box in her attic that when my wife and I first got married 23 years ago, we basically left her house. It was wooden guns I'd made when I was like 6 and 7 years old with my granddad. And I mean, we're not people that love guns and love taking stuff apart. We're people that want to have something cool, and we don't just want to understand how it works. We want to take the accountability in ourselves for making it work and making it work better. And there's a little bit of self-expression there. We're some odd ducks on our team. I mean, you know, we don't just try to basically do, you know, in a line. We're basically value folks to say, this is who I am and this is what I want in my stuff. And I think that comes down to people that customize, whether it's your truck, your gun, or whatever.
I've met a lot of our customers at the shows for 10 years, going to all these gun shows and meeting the end user. A lot of people, you get in a bubble because you don't meet all the actual people. But I met them, and really the resounding thing was that people just wanted a good product at a fair price, and that's it. And that's what we do. I mean, that is our MO.
All right, so we're going to go to customer service now, because folks already told me that the website traffic was heavy, and so basically some of you are timing out. I don't know if we solved that problem yet, because this isn't some made-up thing. Like, you probably know better about how it's going than we are.
I'm reading the comments back here, and I do want to address one. Somebody said that this does not look like a grab bag. Well, I did have it in a bag, but we wanted to conceal
Zach
it.
brought in a grab bag.
A little more
Zach,
exciting.
do you get your Christmas morning stocking in like a see-through bag? How boring would that be? No, everybody wants to be surprised by what's in here.
Do you want us to ship it in that?
we can,
We'll figure out what to ship it in. But
No.
we thought it'd be cool if y'all had that feeling of like what's inside. So,
It's a grab box.
all right, but we're going to go to customer service for a few things. One, we want you to know who's answering the phone, and who's answering the texts, and who's answering the emails when you're happy or you're not happy. Because we don't want it to feel like to you that it's just a bunch of bots from whatever on the other line. Those are real folks back there. So we want you to meet them. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I want some feedback on how this website's going. Things like anything about tonight that we can do better for another Facebook Live, do better for the website, etc. And then also, we want to show you if something doesn't work, because stuff isn't going to work sometimes. That's just a fact. We think our stuff is great quality and works better than other people's stuff, but nobody's perfect. And so when you call us and say something isn't working about my slide, we go through a process of, is it your shooting stance combined with basically the weight, the spring, etc., or is it basically a product quality issue? Is it a combination of that slide with some previous part? We want you to see what we go through on our end. Again, not so you let us off the hook and think it's okay if your slide doesn't work. We want you to see how serious we take it to solve your problem, to figure it out and know our products. So let's go to customer service.
All right, so we are going down this way, and we're going to go right across the hall here.
That's good.
Yeah.
Customer service. All right, so this is kind of a customer service / sales office here. And where are we at? Logan. Okay, so we got Logan and Tori, and one of the cool things, we used to hire customer service people kind of on skills of previous customer service. We thought that was kind of the most important thing. And starting with these guys, we kind of picked people that were enthusiasts first. It really does matter that you're a gun person first and foremost, and then the customer service, computer stuff, you can figure out later. So we interviewed. You were a counter guy, a couple gun stores and everything, and as soon as we started talking to him, we could see the passion there. He knew what he was talking about. He knew the guns. He was excited about the products. He just knew it. So that's Logan, and
I carry, man, makes sense.
And Tori already knew our products too, and this is great too because Tori is a firearms instructor, and
right.
This is a very male-dominated industry, and to have Tori, who is so well-spoken and is a firearms trainer,
Yep.
and knows the guns, it's great. So these are the kind of people that you're going to see when you call in or hear when you call in. But you had some specific questions for Logan, I believe, right?
Yeah. So Logan, when you came to work for us, so first of all, one of the things that I want to tell y'all is we waited a few months to do this. And there were people who said, oh, you're going to do a press release, Lone Wolf under new management. And we're not perfect today. Perfect is never a place you reach. It's just a process of getting better. But what we didn't want to do as a team is say, hey, please give us a second look. Please fall back in love with us. Please come and get prepared. If you love us right now, to tell twice as many people about us. And you come in and have a disappointing experience. And if you go back to May, June, or July, kind of when this started for us, we were undermanned in customer service. There was a bunch of you that called and said, I'm not happy, or this didn't work, or whatever, and no one returned your call. We knew that. So the first thing we did is we basically said, let's make sure we hire enough customer service people and some great customer service people that love guns, love you, love Glocks, love stuff, and we wanted to make sure we had that in place. We wanted to make sure that we basically, when we invite you in our home, my wife gets really, really mad at me. I'm like, oh, let's have people over. And basically my closet's a mess or whatever. Why? Because no one wants to bring someone in their home and look like crap. So we wanted to take a few months and make sure that we could put a good foot forward you that we felt really good about. And there were some things where we sat there and did a real honest self-reflection in June, July, and said, here's 2 or 3 things that we can get better on. And that's one of the things that I talked to y'all about in customer service is you're on the front line. You're tipping my spear. And, tell them about what we tried to, the mindset we try to have in customer service as far as the legacy you're bearing of over 20 years. That's a lot of weight not to screw up.
Well, absolutely. Well, with customer service, we foremost want to make sure we're not sound like a robot to people. We want people to know that when they have an issue with something, they can call us. Like I said before, I'm a gun guy. I carry little products. Tori, she's an NRA instructor. She's all about firearms. We're just like you guys. We want you guys to ask your questions. We want to help you resolve your problems. And if we can't get the answers, we will find them for you. That's our goal.
And that isn't bullshit, the pistol. Like, no. Honestly, when I went, because sometimes I work in a different customer service site, and the first day I walked in, basically, they've all got their guns. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. I'm actually great with that, as long as that's what you do every day. But don't ever let me think that, like, you put on a gun because Clay came to work or whatever. And this is who we are. People don't want to own a gun. They don't have to. They want to carry a gun every single day and wear it to get coffee at 2:30 in the afternoon. That's probably about half, 2/3 of our folks, and that's good.
Yep.
But what we want to do is have you know us as real folks, and that the people you get on customer service when you call, that you think that they're treating your call like they would want their call treated.
Absolutely.
All right, let's meet Ron.
Yeah, so we need to touch on Ron over here. So Ron, I've worked with Ron. How long you worked here? 8 years?
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. Ron and I started really close to time to each other, and Ron currently purchases everything for this company. So everything that's on the shelf is because Ron got it here. And we have a lot of customers and we have a lot of dealers, and we just got an email a week ago from one of our nice dealers, and he sent an email to me and Ron, and he said, hey, I gotta let you know, I work with a lot of companies and I'm trying to get product from everywhere, and you guys are keeping stuff in stock, you're responsive. You would be surprised at how many times you email a company and you just don't get a response. Ron is on top of it like Rain Man, basically. He keeps track of 3,000 SKUs for a gun that only has roughly 30 parts. That is a feat in and of itself. Me and him work together on some stuff, but he takes care of 90% of all of the other stuff. And it really is amazing. The dealer said he was the best in the business, and I truly believe that too. So that's how, for how big we are, it's crazy that it all funnels right through.
And it takes brains and a bulldog mentality. I can tell you that it is, like you said, it's not easy to maintain a lot of SKUs. And there's a reason that our in-stock rates are a lot higher than most other folks out there. Like I said earlier, we're paying extra money to our suppliers to make sure that in this time where you can't find the stuff you're looking for, you can find it with us. The second thing is Zach and the rest of the folks are necessary bulldogs. I mean, basically relentless. You know, we basically are fighting like it's the desert, and like if we don't get that 3 ounces of water, we're dying of dehydration, and we haven't anything to drink in a week. That sort of dog with a bone mentality, that's what I've asked the team to take to make sure that you have a fighting chance of getting what you need here. Sometimes it comes down to hours and days.
Yeah.
You called me a couple times and I'm like, I think we're going to run out. But we've kept fighting through and we're proud of that.
Yeah, and we both were here in 2016 when that was a previously unprecedented time. But this is 2016 times multiples. I mean, we're putting in POs for barrel production, and we're doing every 2 weeks. We're doing a month plus of production. That is just unprecedented demand. So
if we run out of some stuff, it ain't for a lack of effort.
It is not for lack of trying. We put our nose to the grindstone every time.
I want to say it's a tough game to play.
It is a tough game to play.
All right, so we did customer service. Are we going to hit shipping really quick?
Yep.
All right, and then we'll basically give away another bag.
Because it's pretty dark for shipping.
Customer service lead.
Hey guys, we have lights out there. And
Okay. Do you want to shoot? Or
We're going this way.
All right, we're going to go. Calling an audible. We are going to go
We're gonna go shoot stuff.
shoot some guns apparently.
Hopefully it's not Casper.
I don't know if you
Would
can
you do that?
I don't think it's going to work out there though.
You don't?
Well, maybe we'll see.
Oh, it's lighting up.
So you see, we get to work in the mountains. All these mountains around. Beautiful place to work. One of the cool things is our old owner JR used to always say that, you know, we get to live where people come to vacation, because we are right by Priest Lake, Idaho, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That's where most people know. It's a beautiful area, beautiful area, and we are lucky enough to live here every day.
All right, so
this is Dylan. Dylan is our advanced armorer. Everything comes through Dylan for any kind of quality issues or customer returns or anything like that. This is the man that makes it go.
And I mean, I'll tell you what I hope y'all come to see from Dylan in the next couple of minutes, and what I've come to love over the last few months is we take pride in understanding what we sell. And I eventually would like for us to span and sell parts. In the Navy, I grew up shooting SIGs. I was a SIG guy. But before we add a bunch of new brands, we have to make sure that we understand those products better than anybody in the industry. And what I asked Dylan basically is to talk a little bit about the process that we go through when you send something back and you're like, I'm not happy with this, it's not working like I expected. And so talk about it a little bit.
So in the long run, I mean, for a lack is notes on the warranty forms and whatnot. That really helps me out in the long run. If I do get a return and they say, well, it's not working, that leads me to spend a substantial amount of time on figuring out what the true problem is. I can fix, well, just about anything.
Dylan is the guy that if you're broken on the side of the road, he will fix your car with bubblegum, duct tape, and twine.
And it'll work.
And it'll work.
And it'll work.
So, I mean, I can't say I necessarily fix everything. I fix everything Glock related. Glocks, I mean, they're really a relatively simple firearm. One of the easiest, as a manufacturing standpoint, and also to do work on, along with just shooting in general. Now, what we did is we made our frame as more or less kind of having a 1911 kind of angled grip, so you're not leaning way forward into it. Glock, they've stuck with theirs. Many people prefer it. Now, the plus about our frame is if you look, we have an adapter in here that allows you to pull or remove it, and then you can put a Gen 4 slide onto our lower, reinstall it, and then you can run a Gen 3 again.
I know a lot of people are wanting these frames. We've been out for a bit, and I just want to give a little backstory on that. The reason we ran out and then we had to do a new variant. So the variant just means that tells the ATF, it gets permission for the molder to mold that frame under our new license. So in May when it all switched over. We got our new licensing. It just took a while to get it. They're in production very, very soon. So you should be able to buy these again.
So tell me about a return you recently got, and basically how you figure out what's wrong with it, what you got to fix about it. You think you get stories from the last couple of weeks to kind of illustrate to them what they can do to help us help them?
You know, I mean, it's all kind of breaks down to the notes still of what your problems truly are. You know, I mean, some of it's just a standard slight manual modification or a replacement of a part. I mean, everything has stacking tolerances, so I mean, if there's a malfunction, you know, I mean, you never go through and you change out everything. You start with one part. If that doesn't fix it, you go back to the original. Then you'll go to another part. If that doesn't fix it, and so on and so forth.
What I think most of our customers don't understand is that Glock will make rolling changes without telling anybody. They're not beholden to anybody. So I don't know, you probably didn't see it when we walked through there, but we have a whole cage full of Glock OEM guns, and they'll be the same part number, and it'll be a different part change in there. So that's why it's always cat and mouse.
The other thing that I've learned from these guys just in the last few months, I mean, I've learned more about guns in the last few months than I've learned the previous 40 whatever years I've been on this planet. But you know, we'll talk later, we're in the process, I think we told people this, of launching a pistol soon. And so we've been shooting some of the early prototypes of it. And in one of the earlier prototypes, basically one of the slides would not eject an empty brass. And so I called these guys and I'm like, okay, here's what's happening. And it was so cool for me because they're like, man or woman shooting it, big or little person? I'm like, why? And they're like, well, if it's a small person, they don't have a very firm stance. Basically because the weight of that slide combined with the spring that's in it, it might not get all the way back, especially if you're using a different type of ammunition brass that's got a less slick exterior coating to the brass. I was like, I'm not in Kansas anymore. I mean, if they could go through all of those things, it gave me an education how many different permutations there are between I had a pistol and I buy a barrel from Lone Wolf and I put it in there, or I buy a slide. You know, is it the ammunition's different? Is it basically, you know, how I'm holding it, the firmness of my stance? Is it the spring? All these things can come into play. When you multiply that times 3,000 different parts, that's a lot of stuff that's up there in those guys' brains. It's a lot of tribal knowledge that you can't replicate.
So, are we going to shoot a gun?
Yeah, let's shoot real quick.
So I saw a comment when I was behind the camera. Somebody said, shipping container, question mark? Yes, this is a shipping container. And here's why. We used to have to drive 10 miles down the road to a pit to shoot. Well, that's not very efficient because you got to load up everything. This container is a 40-foot shipping container, been fully insulated. We have a real range systems, backstop system. That
so please, no one turn us into Kamala Harris and have someone showing up tomorrow and shutting us down or whatever. But this is like how we do it. We keep it real.
Yeah.
So.
But Dylan can go right from inside, right out here to test fire.
Oh, you got yours nice? All right. All right, we're going to stand back.
Standard Glock. Live. Our firearm. Live. Clear.
So that's how he test fires. You guys want to go see shipping? Because that's where the real magic is.
Nice shooting, Dylan.
Right.
When we said we're scrappy earlier and we're trying to give you the best stuff at fair prices, it's because of stuff like this. It's basically a mill van that's got different sorts of things in it and around it to make it safe. But we try really, really hard to be scrappy, adaptive, frugal, and basically give you good stuff at a fair price. So hopefully you get a sense for that. All right, Kathy, show me your photo.
They're all my photos.
All right, let's go this way, Justin.
So these are my people.
And as you can see, as we just pan through here, you got people doing assembly of.
Well, time out. Bring the camera back. Okay, I swear to you, I don't know how to prove it to you, but this was not made up like because we're filming today. Why are you wearing a kilt?
I find it convenient, especially sometimes you get hot temperatures in the machinery, and so.
What's your name?
I'm James. And
how many times in the past 6 months have you worn a kilt to work?
Well, over the summer, pretty much continuously.
It's like that.
It can get really hot.
Yeah.
So.
And so when I said that frames are coming soon, James is actually engraving the serial number plates on them as we speak. So he has to engrave all the serial numbers on them before we can mold them. So that's how close we're getting.
Nice.
There you go, James. Nice.
So when we said earlier that we are who we are and we encourage individuality, I wasn't joking. We not only let people wear kilts, we think it's funny when people wear kilts. So,
That's a sign of confidence.
Individuality. It takes a tribe.
All right, Kathy, go for it. Take us around.
You know, we've introduced a lot of new people. They're all great fits.
I mean, these three are perfect examples of how we hired for personality and teamwork first. None of them have gun experience, and none of them have really manufacturing experience per se, but that doesn't matter. They're some of the best people that we've hired for these jobs in my tenure history, and they're great. So she's building guide rods over there. They're checking in barrels right over here, doing all the 3C work. You see they check them against the prints, make sure they're all in spec.
Chris is keeping everyone in line.
Chris is our R&D lead. He makes sure everything comes through good. And as we saw over here, we got Maria's packaging. This packaging machine was a real game changer for us. We used to use heat sealed cards and everything. So what this does, this is pretty cool. So there's no label on this usually, or no text. This machine pulls from a database that's from our website. It has all the details of the product in there. So when she builds them from the build orders, it pulls it in there, prints it on demand as it's bagging it. So that it's not a fancy package, so if people are like the fancy packaging, it's not that. But this lets us stay flexible and do tons and tons of SKUs in the same machine fast.
Hi guys.
Hey. All right, now we're gonna have you shipping.
Hey, man. Hey, man.
All right. Here is shipping.
Shipping is my baby.
Yeah, Kathy started in shipping 8 years ago. This is what she did. And back in the olden days, look, pan down all these aisles here, Sean. So all these things that are in little bins and cubbies, this all used to be not location coded. So right now you see, like this has a magnet on it, has a location code. The computer now tells us to go pick that before. But before, Kathy had to memorize where every part is. So how he said that kind of Ron was Rain Man for purchasing, Kathy was Rain Woman for shipping.
So now she's getting older.
She would know where everything was. So it was good, but you couldn't help and scale. So anytime now, it's all location coded and computer pick packed, and it's all ranked with most popular products over there. They can pick multiple orders at a time. It's a way revolutionized. That took a lot of energy. That was one of our first major projects together where we bonded over shipping labels and shipping locations. But
a lot of work went into
Do you guys ever fight?
all the time.
every day.
You two are like brothers and sisters.
But the good news is we both respect each other 100%. So we know that even if we're angry at the time, it's fine. We'll
It's
be
true,
fine.
it's honest. There's nobody I'd rather do a project with than Zach. Absolutely.
So speaking of projects, why don't you introduce them to the shipping ladies?
Yeah, we've got two new additions really. Jessica was down in R&D to start with. Melissa has been here 3 months. 3 months or so. Both are doing phenomenal.
How excited about tonight's Facebook Live event were you?
Excited and nervous. Never been on camera, but excited, hoping will bring more about for us.
I'm pretty convinced the only reason they did that is because they love Kathy and they do whatever she asks them to do, because these two were just like, did not want any part of this whatsoever. So
These two are phenomenal, though. They're team players. They jump in. They do anything that is asked of them. They do it with a smile. They make work coming here easier. It's fun. Here we are. It's
and look, we love it when y'all buy more stuff. That's our goal. But what's going on in the industry right now is unprecedented. And it's a good thing for us. We're super happy to have the business. It certainly beats like a lean year. But these are the folks who make it happen. I mean, these are the people where when all of a sudden y'all buy twice as much stuff, we don't get to ask twice as many people to come to work the next day. They figure out a way to scrap and have tenacity and resilience and get it done. And one of the things that I remember when I first toured this site a while back was that we can turn around orders within like a day. And I mean, this is pre-served Rido, okay? This isn't, like I said, this isn't the BMW manufacturing facility in Germany with a bunch of robots and stuff. I mean, what we're doing here and what they're really doing is nothing short of remarkable. And for me, I just can't tell you how much pride I get out of being part of making something I love, a gun, in a small town United States of America. And just seeing these people basically work their fingers to the bone, ship stuff out at the end of the day, it's awesome. I mean, that spirit and that fight is what it's all about. It's why we're great. All right, Kathy, what else you have to show us? What's down here? Anything more?
So the table that you saw here, this is the receiving table. That's where everything gets dropped off, and like when they're putting in Glock OEM parts, you can see right there, they're counting Glock OEM parts to get on the shelf for you. But then down here is where they actually pack it. So you can see packaging.
Yep, here we've got 3 workstations. This is where all the orders come out. We're doing about 10 orders at a time at 3 different workstations to get them out as quick as possible. We've got every box you can think of, you name it.
Do you have any cool coffee mugs back here that we should tell people about, Kathy?
I only have the one for now.
This is like a game we play, which is, what snarky joke does Kathy make in the morning? What coffee cup does she bring? What t-shirt does she wear? It is always good for some entertainment and it's a positive surprise.
Usually it is, yes.
All right, what else back here? Anything?
What's
the main thing?
No, the main thing is the people.
Yeah.
I mean, the people and the organization and everything we've put into this.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the conference room and let's do a bag giveaway and talk about what new products we're launching.
This is Matt and I's office over here. That's where all the secret stuff happens. You can't go in there, sorry.
The wizard room.
It's the wizard room. The wizard room.
Clark Kent, the wizard.
Another one?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. How are we doing this? You gonna give it a spin again or what?
Yep, you're gonna look at me and I'm gonna scroll, then I'm gonna spin. So
All right. Boom.
Jenny Paul. Jenny Paul. Oh, you're in California. I don't know if that counts.
Jenny, we'll trade you a car for a grab bag. How's that sound? Corvette looks pretty cool. All right. Oh yeah, she's California.
That's legal in California.
All right, cool. All right, let's see what we have. Same thing.
I think it's the same. Hold on, let me see. This one is a. Oh no, this one's different. Okay.
But you also get the second hat and the second t-shirt given away. So same thing again. We'll get your size right and all that.
Jenny Paul. Jenny, email customer service at lonewolfdisc.com and claim. And basically, the last one was this 19. You get a 17 Gen 3 OEM style, but with a gray PVD finish and a 17N barrel to go with it. So you're one parts kit away from having a complete upper on your 17.
All right. So we're going to give away. We're going to keep this one for next time. We're going to give away one more. So let's get a good one because this has got something interesting in it.
All right. All right. Who we doing? Who we doing? Who we doing? Coming us out.
Boom.
There we go.
Did we go there?
Darren Jacobs. Darren Jacobs.
Please stop on me, okay.
All right, Darren Jacobs.
Mountain View High School. What Is that a California Mountain View High School?
We got Mountain View bathroom, so.
Ah.
Darren Jacobs.
All right, Darren. I got good news and bad news for you. The good news is you get some of the stuff we're talking about. You get a hat. You get a t-shirt. Zach, tell them what he gets.
You get a 17 barrel, Glock 17 Alpha Wolf barrel. Stickers.
Some stickers. Now, Darren, you don't get a slide. You get a Poly 80. Is Darren like this? Are we seeing like lights and stuff like that popping up for Darren? Here's the thing, y'all.
Scroll down.
The reason that we're giving away a Poly 80 is we have an announcement to make. We're actually going to gather around now and talk about our roadmap. But we are in the process of finalizing, getting ready to go to production with a lone wolf partial. It should be out sometime before the end of the year. Our goal is to have it to you by the holidays. We humbly believe that it's better and different than the other stuff that's out on the market. And we got a sneaking suspicion that a lot of you want a product like this. And we think that a lot of you come to us and buy, barrels and slides and so on and so forth. And so we basically want to add that thing and allow you to get a partial, complete at home, do it yourself from us. And so we're super excited about that. Don't want to lift up the skirt too much because we are still going through some patent application process and that sort of thing, and we think there's some neat, innovative things about it. But more to follow on that in a few weeks in another Facebook Live event like this.
We basically took the complaints of the current ones on the market and tried to rectify them with our version.
We'll see. We think there's some things about it that y'all are going to love. We certainly hope so. So don't want to basically commit to a certain date on that, and don't want to show you guys a prototype tonight, but we're super pumped about that. We think that's going to be great. The other things that we want to do before we kind of wrap up tonight, we're going to give away a pistol in a minute. Actually, we'll switch this around because I want them to start. Well, actually, no, don't look at the pistols. Here, let's put it right here. So those of you who responded to the email that we sent out, one of the goals for tonight, by the way, was there's different sort of sets of people. There's people that bought something from us in the last 20 years. And we know some of those people bought something 7 years ago and for whatever reason have not bought something else. They're not an active customer. We wanted to reactivate you. We want you to come back, give us a chance, fall in love with us again, buy everything you buy from anybody, from us. The other thing we wanted to do is those of you who love us and buy your stuff from us, we want to give you reasons and things to go tell other people about us even more. We want to turn you from loyal to fanatical. And so one of the things we also want is we want for you to be our wolf pack. We want for you to help guide our company, guide our priorities in development, etc. And so we are going to be investing some of the money that we make from selling you what we do today into launching, developing, bringing new products to market. And we're going to talk about the pistol in a minute. We just talked about the partial. Those are two separate projects we have going up. But there's some other things that we're looking at doing next year. We're looking at launching a suppressor line. We're looking at launching AR parts. I saw in some of the comments earlier a bolt action. Long range shooting is something I love doing. We are looking at what we can do in that space. So there are several projects like that. And what we need to know is, what do you want to buy from us? What do you think we'd be credible at? What would you be passionate about getting from us? And so we sent an email to you a few weeks ago, and we're going to continue asking for your feedback and input on that. But those are all things that we've got coming up. The next thing that you're going to see from us is a complete pistol. It's going to be called the Lone Wolf Guardian. And I want to explain to you, we're not going to show it to you tonight. We're basically going to raffle the first one off in our next Facebook Live. That might be sometime in the next week or two. It might be a couple more weeks. To basically get included in that raffle, here's what you've got to do. We'd love everyone to do this. And do us a favor, please, and do this whether you want that pistol or not. But hopefully, by having a chance to win the pistol, we're motivating you. please take a picture of something that you've gotten from us. A modified pistol with a barrel of slice, something that says Lone Wolf on it. Take a picture, post it on Facebook, post it on Instagram, and include the hashtags. If you go to our Facebook and Instagram posting, we've got a list of hashtags we want you to include. We'd love 10,000 people to take pictures of their stuff, post it on Facebook, post it on Instagram, and include all those hashtags where we draw people in to let us know about what we can give them. Everyone that does that is going to be included in this raffle to get the first Lone Wolf Party. Again, I don't want to go into the details of the Lone Wolf Party and design, but I want to explain to you what we're trying to do with it, because it's maybe different than what you're expecting. Hopefully you love it. I shot it. I shoot it well. I think it's a great pistol. It points well. So it is a good pistol for experienced shooters. But one of the things that I'm passionate about, and our team is passionate about, is many of you are like us. We've been gun nuts our whole life. I don't even know how many guns I have at home, but I can't have too many. If I could buy 5 more tonight, I'd buy 5 more tonight. And I'm excluding when I get on an airplane and fly somewhere, I'm usually carrying. And so when I go to range, I'm trying to be a top 1% guy. Guess what? There's a ton of folks in America that are thinking about buying their first pistol, their first weapon, because they've woken up to something that many of us have believed for a long time, which is protecting our families and our homes is first and foremost. The first line and last line of defense is us. It's our responsibility. And I think a lot of people have always hoped, assumed, taken for granted, if they call 911, someone's showing up quickly. And, you know, for better or for worse, there's a lot of folks in America right now that are realizing that if they call for help, someone may not get there in time. And, you know, I've had a lot of people over the years come to me and sort of, ha, you know, because Clay's a gun nut and he loves guns, he's always got guns. And then they'll circle back at the edge of a cocktail party and be like, hey, don't tell anybody, but would you teach me to shoot sometime? And we'll go out to shoot. And I've observed what first-time gun shooters, what first-time gun buyers, what their stumbling blocks are. It can be intimidating, especially for a woman walking to a gun store.
Absolutely.
It's a complete dude fest. One of the things that my wife pointed out is most guns are black, and they got sharp edges. And many gun companies' idea, if I want to make a gun for a chick, is, oh, it's going to be pink. I mean, like, it's a very sort of, I don't know, short-sighted, condescending, oh, just put pink on a gun and girls will like it sort of thing. And I mean, you know, if a woman's going to carry, like, the bags, the pockets, all those things are totally different than, like, what guys wear. And so we really sat down and talked about a lot of those things and said, how can we be a bridge for people who are thinking about buying their first gun to do it with us and to bring people into our way of life? Because it's not just their first gun, it's a way of life. And make that safe, make that simple, make that accessible for them. It's going to be a 9mm striker fire pistol. It's going to be great. It's going to have a lot of things you love. It's going to have premium parts, but there's going to be some things that are different about it. There's going to be a unique sight on it that acquires very quickly. There's going to be a safety. You know, a lot of people have said, I don't want striker fire. I don't want a safety on my weapon. And one of the things I've heard repeatedly, my wife had this argument. We went to go buy her carry gun. She's like, Clay, I don't care what you think I should have. Lori would not carry it unless it had a safety on it. And you know what? Don't argue with people. Give them something they feel comfortable carrying and using. So there's some things that we're going to do about it, and I hope that you, our loyal customers of 20 years, love it. But what I do know is that you know a lot of people that come to you because you're experts in guns, and they've asked you what to buy. They've asked you to take them to shoot. They've asked you where they should store a gun in their house. They've asked you, what do you do if someone comes in the house? I mean, I've had people basically say, oh, I just try to wound somebody. Well, no, your chances of trying to wound them and kill them are exactly, like, people don't understand what it's like when your heartbeat's beating 200 beats a minute and your blood pressure and you hear your pulse in your eardrums. We are going to try to tackle some of those issues with this. We're going to bundle training into it. We basically got a network of folks with my background, you know, former special operations, former police, former Marines, that'll basically be available. The pistol will come with that. So we put a lot of thought into not just how do you help people who love guns be top 1%ers, but how do you make it easy and simple and non-intimidating for first-time buyers to come into our way of life. And I want your help on that. we want your help. I mean, all of us that love guns have said, why are people so afraid of them? You know what? We haven't given many people many reasons to get unafraid. We have not made it easy enough for people to join our way of life, and we're going to tackle that. So I want your help in that. I want your help. Think about every single family member that you want to see protecting themselves that are afraid to get a gun and now they're thinking about it for the first time. Let this be what pushes them over the edge. Every single friend that you know, maybe they're a left of center person, they don't see the world the way you do. Great. That's exactly who we want. See the world our way and come into our way of life. Think about those people and don't just buy this thing for yourself. Let's bring them along. And that's really what we're trying to do with this. Our objective is to launch that very shortly in the next few weeks. And we'll be auctioning the first one off. You can't tell, I got talking about this because we're passionate about it. This wasn't just let's go make some money selling a gun. This was let's make America better and let's bring people into our way of life. And we try to really put some effort and some time to do that. So those are some of the things coming down the pipe. One of the things before we basically auction off this gun that I'd like from you is feedback. Was this dumb? I mean, you know, never ever do another Facebook Live event. Was this good? Was this interesting? Have you said, hey, look, this was great. You know, I'd like, but on the next one, cover this. Give us that feedback. You know, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, so I know that the football tonight's crappy. Because it's only a Monday night football game, and a lot of us don't watch as much football as we used to anyway. So hopefully we chose a time that works for you. But if there's a better time to do these, if there's different things to talk about, we want to use this as a way to have an ongoing relationship with you. So help us on that. Give us that feedback. So is there anything else we're going to cover before we do basically the gun giveaway?
We know the site is crawling right now.
Yeah.
We're aware. Sorry.
All right. And by the way, let me give all the obligatory disclaimers on the gun giveaway. You know, you got to pass a background check. We're going to have to ship it to an FFL. You know, we can go through all of the different things. But basically, what we're going to do is, I don't even know how to do this with real-time feedback. We have a case behind us. We have a case behind us with custom pistols. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a name. And you get to basically pick your pistol. Now, you don't get the fancy pants expensive sight. You can buy that from us, but basically we'll give you whichever one of these pistols, but you know, you've got to basically pass everything. So, yeah.
So we'll pick a winner, and then we'll contact you guys afterwards. You want to pan through the guns while we pick a winner?
Is it even working?
That's just a video.
He's got to reload it.
The comments are coming through.
I'll do a refresh.
We've got everything from space-looking guns to more concealed carry-looking guns to whatever.
All right, here you go. Ready? This is just so get your comments in right now if you want.
Here we go.
Ready?
Boom. Ashley?
Ashley Yolanda Harridan.
All right.
She says pick me, I'm legal. She says pick me, I'm legal.
Sounds like a date.
All right, let me write that down. So gun winner. Ashley, what is it? Ashley what?
Harridan. H.A. Harridan.
I thought it was Ashley. All right. So Ashley, there may be a time lag. I don't know how this is going to work. But Ashley, what we need you to do is we're going to pan the video in front of the pistol rack. You got to choose one. So we'll read the screen. When Ashley says, I want that one, she can basically type in like what it looked like so that as Justin pans over it.
We got to see her pop back up.
That's gonna be. Why don't you just email us later?
Oh, there she is. Whoa, go down. Go down slow.
That's
my
not speed. It's real time. It's
Stop here. All right.
All right, Ashley, email customerservice@lonewolfdisc.com. We'll send you some pictures of what's in the case, and you can pick between those.
All right. So look, just to wrap up tonight, thank you. We appreciate y'all being our customer. Like I said, if we screw something up, tell us. We want to do what it takes if you're a good customer to have you our customer for life. Tell us what we can do better if we do another one of these events. I'm sorry if the website hasn't worked perfectly tonight. We think that is a function of heavy traffic, which of course is a blessing and a curse. It is a curse for you. It means you cared enough to come on, and we will try to continue being ready to make and meet the influx of volume. And is there anything else, y'all, that we forgot to cover? Honestly, we really like working together. This whole family vibe thing isn't a made-up deal. Like, we really kind of screw around with one another and have fun. And we feel so lucky to come to work and sell you guns and make cool stuff. And we've committed to it here in America. We want for this to be cool for you because it's a blessing for us to come to work here every day. So thank you for being our customer. We love y'all, and please help keep making us better so that we can serve you better. And if you've enjoyed this, we're going to do another one of these really soon. Y'all take care and have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.